So we're talking about if psychedelics become more accepted in society, we'll potentially see an ascension of humanity. Will become more collective, more open-mindedness. The question is, what does that mean to you then? What do you think the utopian version of society that you want to see? How does that all work?
Okay, so it's a very complex question because to give an idea of how society should run, I mean, this is one of the most complex questions. I think as humans, we work very well in small groups or small tribes. And then those tribes, I imagine, would work well in slightly larger groups. So, like, you have groups of groups, if that makes sense. But that's very different, I think, to having countries run by governments, because as we've seen, governments basically do what they want, preserve their self-interests, and try and accumulate as much power and money as possible, and restrict the population, and basically stamp on us, essentially. So I don't think it works. The system of having like elected politicians who are supposed to do what we want doesn't work. That's very clear. So I think any societal structure would have to be self-governing in a way that we kind of, within our smaller groups, decide what's best, and we have like some kind of community way of doing that, whether it's like I don't know, like regular meeting, or have people with different roles within the community. And then psychedelics could play a part in that, because they could enable the people within the group to have more open-minded thoughts about how things should be run. Then you would need structures for like international travel and international relations between different countries. Or you could just say there's no borders now. There's no countries. All there is small groups within big groups within land masses, and everyone kind of works together and shares the resources. That would be the ideal setup. But I don't see how we get from here to there, because we have, the control structure, the spider, kind of looming over us, and it's so deeply entrenched in the way things run. And I think fundamentally it comes down to the banking system, really. I mean, that's the main control mechanism, because if you control the money, you control the people, and it doesn't matter who's running the government because you control the money. So that would be the tough one, because how do you have a society where you exchange value without currency? Don't know.
Definitely. I mean, this idea of like small communities coming together is something that I definitely agree with. I feel like that would be the best way. The issue, like I said, definitely comes with the globalization, and especially with the advancement of our species. Like, we are constantly interacting with people all around the world. So, to keep in our having just loads of little different structures, might be hard as well. I feel like, I don't know if you've heard like a utopian communism theory, essentially where everyone's working together. So you get rid of money completely. There's no currency involved, and your role in society, your job is what you get paid for. So you do the thing that you like, and as a reward of you working, you all get given these things that are obviously becomes confusing with like the state having to provide, and then what power the state has. So, there is really no answer for all this. But like what you're saying with the currency, what worries me is because now we're moving to like the next stage in the digital age, we're moving to Web3. We've got the blockchain coming into practice. So it looks like we're going to eventually turn to one singular currency. And that's how they're probably going to be controlling us in the future, where it'll be a whole globalized state with, a new world order, if you want to call it that, controlling it through all world currency. And maybe that is one step closer to, union in the world, but it is also the next level of the state controlling us as well. So it depends what way you look at it.
Yeah, this is the paradox, isn't it? Because I think the ultimate solution to many of the world's problems would be to abolish governments and monarchies and have everyone work together as one species. No borders, no labels, no restrictions on our movement, and just have us work together and share the resources and build as a species. That's, I think, the ultimate goal. The problem is what the current elites want is they want that, but where they control it all. And a one world government and currency where they're in control of everything and the people essentially have nothing. And so they're trying to, build this kind of techno-feudalism where they own everything at the top and everyone else is just struggling. So I don't think that's the answer either. But then at the same time, the capitalist system, which is mainly what we have now, that also doesn't really work because the money still flows back up to the top, and 1% of the world own something like 30 or 40% of the wealth. So, and then you have 97% of the world in poverty. I actually have an interesting stat here that I wanted to share, and that is, let's say if you're earning $3,000 a month, so 36,000 a year, that actually puts you in the top 3% of the world in terms of income. Meaning
Really?
you're more wealthy than 90% of the planet. So one site says 3%, another one says 10%. So let's just take the average. You're more wealthy than 90% of the planet if you earn 36 grand a year. So the equality is enormous, and especially in the Western world, we very often forget how well we're doing compared to the rest of the world when we're earning 2 or 3k a month, or 4k, whatever. So I think the capitalist system is very unequal as well.
Definitely.
Yeah. I mean, what do you think the solution is?
Honestly, I could not tell you. So much of me believes that money is the root issue of everything. But the alternative of taking that away, like I can't offer like another system that would not work as well, but would be as efficient and because it's so grounded in our system, money, like to take it away seems impossible.
That's the thing. If you imagine there's a world with no currency, then what's to stop somebody just saying, I now own this field? I mean, what's to stop them saying, I now own 100 fields? Without currency, there's no exchange of values. There's no way of knowing or calculating things. I mean, how do you trade, for example, like, let's say you're a rocket scientist. How do you trade that knowledge and experience and skill for a packet of eggs? You can't easily barter without currency.
Yeah.
So maybe some form of one world cryptocurrency would or could be the answer. But then again, it depends who's in control of that and how is it regulated. And I mean, we've heard talks in the UK, for example, about a UK crypto made by the central bank, which apparently they want it to be programmable. And I don't know if you've seen this white paper. They gave examples of what that would mean, and they said we want a one country cryptocurrency that is programmable, meaning, for example, the employer can decide what you spend the money on. So imagine a world where you get paid by your boss for doing a job, and they decide what you actually get to spend your money on. So I don't think that's the answer either. I think it has to be completely decentralized and completely free and open source, open code. Everyone can see how it runs.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think the blockchain is one step in the right direction of that. I don't know the ins and outs of how secure and decentralized it is, but I feel like in the future we could definitely see a system equivalent to that does provide those answers where everyone is on the same currency and it's not the state that have complete power over this. Because even like for content creators like us, like Web3 is offering so many opportunities. Like, because YouTube and all them big companies take most of the money, even though we end up working the job. But with Web3, that money can just come straight to us, and there's no in between person, tax man coming and taking our money.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, YouTube takes a big cut, don't they? But Web3 would go directly to the viewer. And it would be, yeah, exactly. It would be like a crypto contract where the advertiser, the money automatically comes from advertiser to content producer, so us. And there's no middleman, no delays, no taxes or anything.
Yeah.